Have you ever partnered with a friend? So tell us about it.
Have I ever partnered with a friend for business? Yes, I have. Many years ago, my friend and I, my childhood friend, very close friend, and I decided that we wanted to go into a business partnership together. So we came up with a budget. We came up with a job description for each of us. So that job description was born out of where our skills and talents and strengths lie. So I was the finance expert at the time. She was the human resource person. I had a bit of operations and administrative background as well. So I played that role, and she focused on people and talent management. We were able to come up with a nice budget where we understood that we were coming into the business at 50-50. So she came up with 50%, I came up with 50%. And we were very successful in running that business for 5 years together. Unfortunately, the business did have to come to a close, but that is not for personal reasons or anything like that. It was just where the business was at the time. It was during the COVID era, and a lot of businesses struggled during that era. So we were one of the businesses that got affected due to the, COVID-19 pandemic at the time. But yes, I have partnered with a friend for business before. Yeah.
So would you say it's a good idea to go into business with a friend?
I wouldn't say it's a good idea, but neither would I say it's a bad idea. I would say that if you're going into a business with a friend, and we're using that word friend, meaning that that person is truly a friend of yours, there has to be certain things you must put in place. Don't go into business with a friend as a friendship, because that removes the business element from it. So if you're going into business with a friend, make sure that it is very structured, number one. Number two, make sure that you are not unequally yoked, which means that your vision is aligned with her or his vision as well. Make sure that you're passionate about this business. So I am doing it as a passion, you are doing it just for money. Then you're unequally yoked. It's not going to work, because when those tough decision times come, and there will be times where you guys have to make tough decisions, you will find out that you're at loggerhead. You will find out that you guys are on opposite ends, and that will create problems. Apart from that, there must be an exit strategy in your MOU. So make sure part of the structure you're putting in place is that you're signing a partnership agreement that is executed by a lawyer, that is done by a lawyer, so that it is a legally binding document. And make sure that that document has an exit clause, so that at any point in time, if you decide that this business is no longer working for me, or I'm no longer passionate or interested in this business, you can easily leave according to the terms of the exit clause. That exit clause will save your friendship. Trust me, it would, because there are many times that one person has lost interest, the other person is still pushing and driving the business and is wondering why he or she is slacking, and then it starts to create animosity and so many other things that can happen. So if you have these things in place, then I would say yes, go ahead. Oh, and one last thing actually, maturity. Don't go into business with a petty friend. We all have that one friend that we know is petty, but we love them all the same. They're our friends, right? But if you're going into business with a friend, make sure he or she is not a generally petty person, because there would be some tough times where you have to make tough decisions. And if you're petty, it would potentially ruin the friendship. So yes, I think if you have those things in place, then yes, sure, you can go into business or partnership with a friend.
As someone in HR, what's your take on hiring friends as employees? Is it different from co-founding with them?
It's different from co-founding with them, because now you're reporting to me. We're the same age, we're of the same background, we're of the same class, we have the same experience, etc. We grew up together, but now you have to report to me. It's difficult. Emotionally and psychologically, it's very difficult to report to a friend. So I would generally run away from that kind of scenario where I'm hiring my friend to work for me. But I have a very good friend right now that has hired her very good friend as well. So we're all friends, and she's working for her in a very low, much lower capacity than she is. And it's working out very well. In fact, when the subordinate friend when she sees us as her madam's friends, she says ma to us. And we're always like, why are you doing this? She's like, we're in the office and you're my madam's friend, so I have to greet you like my madam's friend. So welcome, ma. I'm like, oh God, it's so bizarre. It's actually so bizarre, but it works for them. So a very high level of emotional intelligence and maturity comes into play if you are going to do that. If you're going to hire your friend as your subordinate or as your employee, that friend must be very, very mature to be able to handle the rudiments of what comes with reporting to your friend or your former classmate or something along those lines. It's doable. I would run away from it just because it can be stressful, and especially because human beings were generally emotional in nature and we're very sentimental. But I don't believe in these things in the workplace. You have to remove your personal emotions from work. Work is work. So if I'm reporting to you, that's where I find myself. So I'm going to give it the best shot that I can. But how many people think like that? Very few people think like that. So if you know that that friend is not very mature or has a high level of EI or EQ, don't do it. Yeah.
Have you ever had to choose between a business decision and a friendship? How did you navigate that?
A business decision and a friendship. Have I ever had to choose between a business decision? Yes, I have, actually. It's funny because I prioritize my friendships because I don't have a lot of people that I call my friends. So personally, I value my friends. I value friendship. And I know that business ultimately is for impact and for money. So if we forget the impact side, we're focusing on the money, right? Money can be made in other ways. Money can be made at another time. So at this particular point, that decision I had to make was really to salvage the friendship. It was in this instance where I ran this business that I mentioned with my friend, where I was ready to shut down the business, count our losses and move on. Literally, forget everything we've lost. We would recover it all. Let's move on. And she was still very emotionally tied to the business. She was still very much into running this business. Let's give it our last shot. You can see the numbers. I was the numbers person. So I could see the numbers and I could see the trajectory. And I was like, the longer we stay in this business, the deeper into a rabbit hole we're going. But she was still so very emotional about the business. And I decided, you know what, to salvage this friendship, we will continue running the business. At the end of the day, when we decided to shut down the business, we were in a much worse situation than we would have been if we had shut down the business when I recommended it. But because of friendship, I said, let's go ahead. So yes, I've had to do that. Just because personally speaking, I'm not caught up on loss. I'm not caught up on money. I know that these are things that happen in reality in life. It's part of your story, right? I'm telling the story right now. You know what I mean? So I'm not too caught up on it. So I was happy to let all those decisions fly by and forget about them to salvage the friendship, because I knew that that was what she really wanted and I did it for her. So yes, I've had to do that.
What personal boundaries should one enforce when working with friends or close colleagues?
Personal boundaries should understand that we are in a professional environment. When we are in the office environment, we are not friends, we are colleagues. So if you are not able to understand that, don't come and work with me, because I will treat you as a colleague. And I don't believe in friendship in the workplace, generally speaking. We can be friendly with each other, but I'm not here to make a friend. I have more than enough friends. So a lot of times, those boundaries must be really, really strict and adhered to. When we're in the office, we're colleagues. And so if it's time for lunch, we go for lunch together. But don't call me and say, are you free? Let's meet downstairs. I have gist for you. Or what are you doing? I want to come to your office. No, I'm at work. I'm busy. If you're idle, great. Good for you. Go find some research to do. But I'm busy. I'm not going to come downstairs and gist with you just because we're friends. We can do that after 5 or after 6 once we close and we're in a personal environment. But as long as we're in the workplace, I'm going to set those boundaries and I'm going to be very strict with them. So again, that goes back to saying that if you guys are not mature enough, you have no business working with each other. And one has no business reporting to the other, because it will cause really, really bad rift between the friends.
If things go wrong in a friendship-based partnership, what's the best way to handle it? Is it legally or emotionally?
My friends are going to have my neck for this feedback. I would say do things the right way. I don't believe in bringing emotions into business. I know people will say, but Bukky, you are kind of emotional. Yeah, I'm an emotional person. I'm a human being. Every human is emotional. But when it comes to business, it's a fine line because yes, you want to also nurture the relationship. You don't want to be seen as cutthroat, so to speak. You want to be flexible, right? So once I have been flexible enough, I have been, emotionally intelligent enough, empathetic enough, I will still do things the right way. And if that means doing it the legal way, then that's how we're going to do it. Because I feel like a lot of times we bring so much emotions into the business, and at the end of the day, the friendship still tarries, it still fades. So why not just do things the right way? And that's why going in at the beginning, you must make sure that you're going in with someone that is very mature, someone that is highly emotionally intelligent, and someone that is not too emotional or sentimental. Because when it comes time to make these hard decisions, you're on the same wavelength. Like I said earlier, you can't be unequally yoked. If we are ready to drive this business as a business, then we are ready to do whatever it takes to drive this business. And if that means we have to cut ties from a business perspective, then we have to cut ties from a business perspective. But when we get home, we can still gist and hang out with each other. So yeah, that's my thought.
What has been your biggest lesson in navigating relationships in business?
My biggest lesson is have an agreement. Always have an agreement. Make sure that 2 of you, 3 of you, 4 of you, however number of you, sit down and go through that agreement line by line and actually agree on every item in that agreement. Make sure that agreement, like I said earlier, has an exit clause. Make sure you are going into partnership with someone that is just as emotionally intelligent and as mature as you are. Make sure that the vision for the 2 of you is the same. Make sure that you are both ready to run this as a business and not as a pet project. Make sure that you have and are willing to put in the same level of commitment it takes to grow this business. Work on your individual strengths. Don't be emotional about your position. I am CEO, you are COO. Those are semantics. I'm CEO because I have good leadership skills. You are COO because you are good with operations. You're good with strategy and administration. So again, put yourselves in the roles of your strengths. Don't be emotional or sentimental about it. I think once you have these things in order, then it makes it easier to do that together.
What are your final thoughts?
My final thoughts is, honestly, it's great to see friends do business together, but it's not an easy thing to do. And it takes and requires a lot of emotional intelligence to go into business with a friend. It's great, like I said, but it's difficult. So if you're not ready to do what it takes, removing sentiments and emotions aside, then don't do it. But if you're ready and you're sure of yourself and your business partner, then go into it. It can be something really beautiful to see. And that's it.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.